Climate change is real. It is happening now, and its effects are becoming more evident with each passing day. Our planet is warming at an alarming rate, and human activities are the primary cause. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial pollution are driving this unprecedented change. This is not a future threat. It is our present reality. We are already witnessing the devastating impacts of climate change in our daily lives. The consequences of inaction are dire, threatening the delicate balance of our ecosystems and the future of life as we know it. Species are becoming endangered, and ecosystems are being irreversibly damaged. From the melting glaciers of the Arctic to the intensifying hurricanes in the tropics, the impacts of climate change are being felt across the globe. No region is immune. We are witnessing more frequent and severe heat waves, droughts, floods, and wildfires. These extreme weather events are becoming the new normal. These events have devastating effects on human societies, causing displacement, food shortages, and economic instability. Communities are being uprooted, and livelihoods are being destroyed. The scientific consensus is clear. We must act urgently to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate the worst effects of climate change. Renewable energy sources like wind and solar power offer a path forward. This is not just an environmental issue. It is a social justice issue, an economic issue, and a moral imperative. The most vulnerable communities are often the hardest hit. The choices we make today will determine the future of our planet and the well-being of generations to come. We have a responsibility to act now. It is time to face the reality of climate change and embrace bold solutions. We must come together to create a sustainable future. We have the knowledge, the technology, and the responsibility to create a sustainable future for all. The time to act is now. The Earth's atmosphere acts like a blanket, trapping heat from the sun and keeping our planet habitable. This natural process is called the greenhouse effect. Certain gases in the atmosphere, known as greenhouse gases, play a crucial role in regulating this temperature balance. The problem arises when human activities release excessive amounts of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, trapping more heat than necessary. The primary greenhouse gases responsible for this warming effect are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases. These gases act like a thickening blanket, trapping more and more heat and causing the Earth's temperature to rise. This phenomenon, known as global warming, is the driving force behind climate change. The burning of fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas is the largest contributor to human-caused climate change. These fuels have powered our industries, transportation, and homes for centuries, but their extraction, processing, and combustion release massive amounts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The energy sector alone accounts for a staggering 75% of global greenhouse gas emissions. This reliance on fossil fuels has brought about unprecedented economic growth and technological advancement, but it has come at a heavy price: the destabilization of our planet's climate system. Transitioning to cleaner, renewable energy sources is essential to curb our reliance on fossil fuels and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal energy offer viable alternatives that can power our societies without jeopardizing the planet's health. Forests play a vital role in regulating the Earth's climate. They act as carbon sinks, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through photosynthesis and storing it in their biomass. However, deforestation, primarily driven by agricultural expansion, logging, and mining, is stripping away these crucial carbon sinks at an alarming rate. When forests are cleared or burned, the stored carbon is released back into the atmosphere, contributing to the greenhouse effect. Deforestation is responsible for an estimated 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Protecting existing forests and restoring degraded lands is crucial to mitigating climate change. Sustainable forest management practices, reforestation efforts, and reducing our consumption of products that drive deforestation are essential steps in the right direction. Section 5. A world heating up. The evidence is clear. The Earth's average temperature has risen by about 1 degree Celsius, 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit, since the late 19th century, with most of the warming occurring in the past 4 decades. This rapid increase is unprecedented in the history of our planet. This may seem like a small change, but it is already having profound impacts on our planet. Melting ice caps, rising sea levels, and more extreme weather events are just a few examples. The past 5 years have been the hottest on record, and 2016 and 2020 tied for the warmest year ever recorded. These years have set alarming new benchmarks for global temperatures. These rising temperatures are not isolated incidents. They are part of a long-term warming trend driven by human activities. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes are major contributors. The evidence of climate change is overwhelming and undeniable. It is visible in the shrinking ice sheets, the warming oceans, and the changing weather patterns. It is based on rigorous scientific observations, data analysis, and modeling from leading research institutions around the world. These findings are peer-reviewed and widely accepted. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, the leading international body for the assessment of climate change, has concluded with over 95% certainty that human activities are the dominant cause of observed warming since the mid-20th century. This conclusion is supported by a vast body of evidence and scientific consensus. Section 6. Melting ice and rising seas. A coastal crisis. As global temperatures rise, so too does the risk of irreversible changes to our planet's cryosphere, the frozen regions of Earth. Glaciers are melting at an unprecedented rate, ice sheets are collapsing, and sea ice is disappearing. The consequences of this melting ice are far-reaching and potentially catastrophic. Sea levels are rising at an accelerating pace, threatening coastal communities and low-lying islands. Higher sea levels increase the risk of flooding, erosion, and saltwater intrusion into freshwater sources. Millions of people around the world live in coastal areas that are vulnerable to sea level rise. The displacement of these populations would have significant social, economic, and political ramifications. Section 7. Extreme weather. A new normal. Climate change is altering weather patterns across the globe, leading to more frequent and severe extreme weather events. Heat waves are becoming more intense and longer lasting, droughts are becoming more severe, and rainfall patterns are changing, leading to both floods and water scarcity. These extreme weather events have devastating impacts on human societies and ecosystems. Heat waves can cause heat stroke, respiratory problems, and other health issues. Droughts can lead to crop failures, water shortages, and wildfires. Floods can cause widespread damage to infrastructure, displace communities, and contaminate water supplies. The increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events pose significant challenges to our ability to adapt to a changing climate. Building resilience to these events through disaster preparedness, early warning systems, and sustainable land management practices is essential to minimize the impacts. Section 8. Climate change and human health. A toxic relationship. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is a profound public health threat. The World Health Organization has identified climate change as the greatest threat to human health in the 21st century. The impacts of climate change on human health are diverse and far-reaching. Rising temperatures increase the risk of heat stroke, respiratory problems, and cardiovascular disease. Changes in rainfall patterns can lead to food shortages, malnutrition, and waterborne diseases. Extreme weather events can cause injuries, displacement, and mental health problems. Vulnerable populations, such as children, the elderly, and those with underlying health conditions, are disproportionately affected by the health impacts of climate change. Addressing climate change is essential to protecting human health and well-being. Section 9. What we can do. It's not too late. While the challenges posed by climate change are significant, it is not too late to act. We still have a window of opportunity to make meaningful changes that can alter the course of our future. We have the knowledge, the technology, and the resources to transition to a low-carbon, climate-resilient future. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind power are more accessible than ever before. Individuals, communities, businesses, and governments all have a role to play in addressing this global challenge. Collaboration and collective action are key to making a significant impact. We can reduce our individual carbon footprints by making sustainable choices in our daily lives, such as using public transportation, conserving energy at home, and recycling more effectively. Additionally, reducing our consumption of meat and dairy products can significantly lower greenhouse gas emissions. We can support policies that promote renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable transportation. Voting for leaders who prioritize climate action is crucial. We can invest in research and development of new technologies that can help us mitigate and adapt to climate change. Innovation is a powerful tool in our fight against global warming. And most importantly, we can use our voices and our votes to demand action from our leaders. Civic engagement and advocacy are essential. Climate change is a defining issue of our time, and we must act now to create a sustainable and equitable future for all. The choices we make today will shape the world for generations to come.